So our project is we're going to learn different lessons. The students are going to read articles about the Columbian Exchange. And they're going to read articles on Digo. There's 5 different ones. Ones that talk about the slave trade, how it was involved. Ones that talk about ecology, how it was changed when the Europeans came over. One that talk about just food and how food was revolutionized after the Columbian Exchange. One that talks about, I guess, current globalization, so we can have a rich conversation about that. And the students are going to, are you familiar with Digo?
Yeah, Jeremy.
Good. So on Digo, they will read this article and they'll comment on it with their class, have a conversation online, and then that conversation will spill into our in-class conversations. We can even pull it up and start from that starting point. We're going to become more than just a little familiar. If we read multiple articles, we'll have multiple perspectives on this issue in history. We're going to try to look at it through different points of view. And in the end, after we've really discussed it and talked a lot about it, the students are going to be given roles, specific roles, and we're going to hold a world summit. So someone might be an ecologist or an environmentalist. Someone could be an anthropologist or a sociologist. Someone might be someone who studies diseases and how they move. All sorts of experts in various fields are going to come together and talk about the Columbian Exchange and just have this dialogue and discussion about how big of a deal it was and how in the future, if we were to go to like another planet or something, what are some things that we need to take into account?
Right. With sentient beings on there, how might we handle it differently than was handled when the Columbian Exchange happened?
And we would also have like a human rights environment activist as well. Maybe even somebody who was a descendant of the Taino people, which there are not very many. I think they're almost all abolished, all killed from disease. But we want at the end to have this rich in-class discussion, like a summit where students would have to prepare, understand their perspective, understand like what, go and use Digo and online articles, find research to support, their ideas, and then come to class and we'll have this big summit together. So it's going to have science, history, ethics is all involved in that.
Isn't it like that little that brochure we had last year?
Yeah.
The brochure? Like, cause she was like,
about like making your own
country.
world, yeah.
Oh yeah, Utopia.
Utopia. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. So we want it to be fun and interesting, but we want the students to learn a whole lot, and that's our idea. And we're gonna videotape it and make it 21st century.
Right. Well, we're going to figure out how to do all that.
Right, yeah, right. That's the part we haven't quite figured out is like, what, are we going to put it on Glogster? Are we going to do a Glogster? Are we going to videotape it and put it up as a videotape? How are we going to get it out?
And also, I think part of what we want to ask is this, not that you guys are exactly average students, pretty extraordinary, each of you, very individualistic. But just the same question that I asked this other group, is what's going to get kids up, jump up and down excited about doing this project? Sort of like the asteroid project, so what would get people really involved and
what would people make?
And then have fun learning.
Yeah, what would make people do what Elizabeth and who was the other person that wanted to, Alyssa? Who's looking over your shoulders the other day, want to jump in. I mean, what can we do to make people on the sidelines or who typically don't get engaged? How do we get them engaged?
I think that how everyone in a class has their specific field. They are able to do Curly's really good at math. know. Like she's really good at math. I'm pretty good at
Yeah.
like, Spanish.
What we did for the project, pretty
I'm
much.
pretty good at Spanish.
They can bring their own expertise and strengths.
Yeah. Like pretty much what we did the project, because pretty much what we decided for our project about the asteroid was, let me take care of the math, you take care of the research, because I'm not very good with like, having to go back to dictionary.com looking up every other word. But I can figure out the math
I'm
behind
quite
it.
used to dictionary.com.
Yeah.
It's my brain.
But like I think like the most important part is like, because you said like divide it up between like in the colleges, something like that. Like pick something. Don't make a kid do something that they hate. Like if you know that kid is not, it doesn't matter if you're just drawing slots for who gets what. Don't make the kid do what they hate.
If the person really likes what they're doing, they'll like spread out this enthusiasm spray or something, and everyone's gonna be interested in it.
Yeah.
It's like giving Brianna, okay, I want you to do
Give
a
Brianna a
project
catalog.
on.
Like a mall catalog or something.
Yeah, I want you to do a project on beauty salon. The whole class will have to listen to that, and they will learn. They will learn something.
Because your daughter will actually be very enthusiastic about it.
Well, yes.
Yeah, like the stuff like that sticks to you when the person who's actually doing it.
Yeah, or like a 10-minute presentation on cereal.
Is that in speech class?
No, we haven't taken speech yet, but I remember in Tech Apps, she had 3 slides and she was telling us how to eat cereal.
She was explaining how to eat cereal and how to use a spoon and
Wow.
As if a Martian were visiting, sometimes that's important.
Some people know how to use. Some people know how to eat cereal. What if there's nothing else? There's no stove, there's no microwave, and you have milk, a bowl, and cereal.
Yeah. That's how I got through college and all. Yeah.
You see, look, I'm not the only one whose main diet was cereal.
I love cereal.
I didn't do anything.
cereal.
But also, like, another thing that usually slows us down during history is just like, what is this, what is that? So if you're going to be doing, like, nutrition, I'm assuming you're going over through, like, disease, like food diseases, right? Like,
Yes.
The whole time I'm thinking, like, just, like, go over what she's going over, because it usually slows us down in class whenever someone's like, what's malaria? What's salmonella? What's, what is this?
So maybe have the students do that work beforehand, before the discussions, like have the articles.
Like the
She's
science
really good
before the
articles.
history.
Or have them look them up themselves and let the peers explain to each other what it is.
And that's what I was going to do, was actually pick
Yeah.
typical food diseases from that time and pick typical vitamin deficiencies and excesses from that time and have them pick a vitamin. So we're going to do the major nutrients and each of them will pick something. So we'll do kind of day-long projects where they have to look stuff up and then report back.
So, like, if you could, like, collaborate on that to make her, like, do it, like, the day right before you go over that sort of thing, that way it's fresh in the kids' mind. Because you do it a
That
month
makes
afterward and
sense.
they're, like, they're not going to remember much.
Right. So timing is very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we said timing, having the students teach themselves what they need to know to understand the content or the big overall picture, and then also giving them student choice, and for whatever role they'll have needs to be something that interests them and it's something that they're good at too.
Liz, were they going to research the roles? And that's the research. You were going to provide the information about the period and the concepts, and they were going to research the roles.
And then do a little bit of additional research into the Columbian Exchange via a human rights activist perspective,
Okay,
like talking
so
more about it.
they're going to continue contributing to the DIGO collection of articles that they can share with everybody else.
Exactly, right. Yeah, and I would also think that as they're developing whichever role that they're picking, that Liz and I will also help provide some information.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But like if I said, Alex, you should go be an epidemiologist, it's clear that you're interested in disease. And so,
Very clear.
but you would go, well, I don't know what the heck an
Epidemiologist.
whatever is,
Exactly.
and so then that would be so what is an epidemiologist and what does an epidemiologist do? And I wonder if I could talk to one via Skype, and actually talk to a real live epidemiologist. Who knows? Maybe you could.
What the internet has done for us.
What was that?
What the internet has done for us.
That's what the internet
It
has
helps
done for us.
everybody.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
YouTube.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
YouTube and the internet, that's right.
Oh, maybe there are epidemiologists
Talking.
who give lectures.
Yeah, I mean, I found a Berkeley lecture actually one time on YouTube about psychology.
Yeah, so maybe
Oh,
there's
yeah.
an epidemiology lecture that's right on YouTube or iTunes. iTunes U, do you guys know about iTunes U? That's where you probably found that.
What is that?
iTunes U is all these college professors from Yale and Harvard and Stanford and all those places. They're posting their lectures and they're free. They're downloadable from. So if there's a subject that you're interested in, you could actually hear a college level lecture on what that would be. And it might be, it might be fascinating and it might be boring, but you'd get a sense of it.
Yeah. So that's a good idea. Podcast research.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't necessarily fit in with Digo.
Well, you can like post the website on there. Like
If it's at a website, yeah.
if it's a website, you can.
If you find out about that person probably has a website. They might have their lecture there as well.
It's a site that has like a lot of lectures on there. That the person is just gonna search whatever they're looking for.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Other advice, though, you guys are giving really
Yeah, this is
great
really
advice.
helpful.
Really great advice for how to handle this project and keep kids interested in learning. Keep kids interested in their own learning.
How long do you think it should be, or what's too long for the whole unit?
Yeah, there you go.
What grade is it? 7th or 8th?
Seven.
7.
Yep.
How much time do you need on this?
Well, I think
Okay. Depends. You said you wanted to give them a day to like figure that out.
No. A day, not a day for this whole project, but a day
I mean,
to
like,
do bits and pieces
Yeah,
of
to
it. Yeah, so like major nutrients like fats, proteins, and
Yeah.
carbohydrates. That'll be sort of a day long, and then the vitamins would be another day, and it's going to take longer for them to report out on those things.
Yeah, Jan and I have been doing a lot of talking lately about, especially with younger kids, how it's possible to give them too much time.
Too much time. I did.
They
that.
need a little sense of
I'm doing that with
urgency.
you as we speak, as you know. So, yeah.
That if you give people too much time, they don't really use
Someone
it.
give us those 3 papers for 1 week, and that was
Well, yeah, all right, fine.
that was
Yeah, that was just
That was a different problem.
A little. Maybe.
That was a different problem.
That was a different problem. They thought it was a little pile up of.
papers.
We had a book report too. I just enjoyed those. I just enjoyed those.
It's just you were like, oh, Kelby, you're just 10 pages. That's like minimum.
But I guess that, it wouldn't make sense because if you had an introduction like a page long, and then history would take like 3 pages, and then.
But I think this is a really good question to say, okay, so let's say how much time do they need, and then to do
Parcel it
research,
out, right.
and then how much time do they need to report back, and in what way? I mean, are you going to have them report back on Deco, or are you going to have them report back and share their information in a wiki somewhere where they're putting the information together?
In that particular case, for the nutritional stuff, I was actually thinking either to do it on Glogster, to have them create a
A
blog.
poster, right?
poster.
Yeah, an online poster.
An
That
online
you guys
poster.
haven't done blogs, have you?
No.
Yeah, they're online
Right.
digital posters.
They're online, yeah, exactly. And that allows people to see it, or a Prezi. I don't know if you've seen Prezis, but
Okay.
Prezis are another way to put a whole lot of information in one place. The wikis, I just haven't gotten into them.